If you've ever been driving in a car with a song playing and a line just hits you so hard that you had to pull over because God was just undoing something inside of you, this video is for you. There's a song I keep coming back to. I say it all the time in our coaching calls in the well. It's called The Slower I Go. SCU Worship put it out, and it's been on repeat in my house for months, probably like over a year now. And every time I listen to it, I hear something different. But the line that keeps wrecking me is the title itself, The Slower I Go. And there is a line in the song that says, The slower I go, the faster I arrive. Because everything in our culture, even our Christian culture sometimes, tells us to go faster, to hustle harder, build bigger, post more, optimize everything. But what if God's been trying to teach me the opposite this entire time? What if slow is the strategy? So, in this video, I'm going to walk you through three things: why slow business is actually faithful business, what the slower I go actually means in practice when you're trying to build something to grow, and the difference between resting and stewarding, because they're not the same thing. So, the first time I really heard this song, I really heard it, I was in a season of trying to manufacture growth. You know what that feels like. So, trying to make things happen faster than they were happening, almost like in a manipulating sense. And there's a moment in the bridge where the writer talks about laying down what you can't carry. Ooh, it hits me every time I listen to it. And I sat with that for weeks. Like, what does that actually mean? Because I realized I had been carrying things in my business, even in my life, that God never asked me to carry. The growth pressure, the comparison, the constant manufacturing, none of it was His. All of it was mine. Real quick, before we go any further, if you're new here, hit subscribe. I post videos like this every week for Christian women in business who want to build something fruitful and not just busy. Okay, let's get into it. So, most business advice says speed wins. Move fast, be first, optimize for growth, hustle until you make it. But here's what I've learned. And what this song has really been teaching me: speed in business is almost always a symptom of distrust. We move fast because we don't trust that God will provide if we slow down. Listen, I know that might have hit you like a ton of bricks because it hit me. Like, what do you mean, slow down? But most often, speed in business is always a symptom of distrust. So, slow business doesn't mean a lazy business, okay? It doesn't mean unambitious. It doesn't mean you're not going to make money. It means you've stopped trying to outrun God's pace for your life. What happens a lot of time is we like to get ahead of God. We like to run really fast, and that means we're getting ahead of God, and we're like, bye, Lord, see you later. And we've got to spend time behind Him always, because that is where the fruit looks different. Slow business produces deeper relationships with clients, better products, because you actually took the time to refine them. Refine your calling, refine what you're walking out. Marketing that feels honest because it's not panicked. So decisions made from peace and not pressure. And here's the unfair truth: slow business often makes more money than fast business in the long run. It's sustainable, and that's what we want, because trust compounds and compounds. Reputation also compounds. Authority also compounds. Trust, authority, reputation. None of that happens when you are sprinting. Okay, but what does slow business actually look like? Because slow down is very vague advice. And I do not want to give you vague advice. If you ever come to this channel, you are never going to get vague advice, okay? It looks like fewer offers, but deeper offers. Not 5 courses and 5 digital products, 3 masterminds, and a coaching program, and this and that, and da 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 da. No, 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 no. One thing done deeply. The women who build slowly tend to have one thing they're known for, and that thing gets really good over time. Now, listen, that doesn't mean you don't get to add things as you go, but you want to get really good at the one thing God is asking you to walk out. It looks like working in the margins, not at the expense of your family. If your business is requiring you to sacrifice the people literally God gave you to steward, the giftings He gave you, the business is wrong, not the people. Okay. I work 3 to 4 hours a day most days, and I'm done by noon. So I'm present for my girls in the afternoon. My business has grown more in this season than in any season where I was working 10-hour days. It looks like saying no to good opportunities because they're just not your opportunities. Slow business means having the spiritual confidence to turn down things that would grow you faster but cost you peace, right? It's the things that a lot of the time bring us anxiety. The opportunity isn't always God just because it's an opportunity. Like sometimes open doors are not doors we need to walk through. It also looks like trusting that what you sow in this season, what you plant, will be reaped in the next. You will harvest it. Fast business expects immediate return, right? So slow business plants seeds in faith. You write the email and trust it'll matter. You record the video and trust it'll find the right woman. You serve the client well and trust the referrals will come. Galatians 6:9 tells us, let us not grow weary of doing good, for in due season we will reap if we do not give up. Now, here's what I have to push back on something the church often gets wrong, because the response to hustle culture in Christian spaces has often been rest, right? Just rest, just rest. Sabbath your way to success. Burnout is the enemy and stillness is the answer. And listen, rest is absolutely so good. It is good. I believe in Sabbath. We practice Sabbath in our family. I believe in slowing down, but rest isn't the opposite of hustle, okay? Stewardship is the opposite of hustle. Hustlers manufacture results from striving, but resters wait for results to manifest from stillness, letting God be the multiplier, be in charge of the outcomes. Stewards tend what God actually has planted. So there is a third way that nobody is naming, but we're going to name it, okay? Slow doesn't mean stopped. It does not mean you're not taking action. It means working at God's pace, on God's assignments with God's resources. So the slower I go isn't about doing less. It's about doing the right thing at the right time. So a steward doesn't sprint, but she also doesn't sit still. She tends, she cultivates, she watches what God's growing, and she waters it faithfully. It feels like flow and it feels like alignment. That's the third way. Not hustle, not just rest, but stewardship. And it is the faithful way to build a business. So slow business is a faithful business. The slower I go, the faster I arrive. The more I can hear what God is actually asking me to build, to grow, to refine. And maybe it looks like fewer offers. It's working in the margins. It's saying no to the wrong opportunities and trusting the harvest will come. And it's not the same as rest. It's stewardship, tending what God has actually planted and at his pace with his resources. If you've been exhausted by hustle, but the call to just rest hasn't felt right either, the third way. The third way is stewardship. This is the slow that's holy. If something I said today landed for you, if you've been sensing that the speed you've been moving at isn't actually God's speed, that there's a slower, more faithful way to build, I made a free quiz called the Fruit Quiz. It takes about 2 to 3 minutes and it helps you figure out what's actually keeping your business from producing fruit. Not what someone else thinks, but what is true for you. The link is in the description below this video and it's pinned in the comments. So go take it, see what shifts. And if you're new here to the channel and this is the kind of conversation you've been looking for, the in love and truth kind, the big sister in Christ kind, hit subscribe. I would love to have you here every week. I will see you in the next video.